following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys welcome back Brad J. Brown of Brad J. Resumes to discuss career goals in the new year. They also talk college football national championship and NFL playoff. And as always, they answer listener questions and wrap up things with some trivia. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Check. Pool. Out. Money. West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up. Keep it real, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, but get out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. On to the shy line. I'm gonna let this ride out though. This is the Defy Life. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This episode is 140, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in, wipe off your feet, close the door behind you. I'm your host, J.R. Glenf, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glenf, Thomas Stevens. What's good with you, Al?
Man, chilling like I was a LSU fan or something like that.
Oh, shit.
But I'm not. But I'm chilling like I was.
All right. Hey.
Doing all right, though. Doing all right.
No doubt. On that note, Thomas Stevens, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, man. I'm still getting my bearings about me. You know, licking my wounds and glad to be alive, man.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. You sound a lot better than Dabo at this point last night. Dabo was about to bust over wide on TV, man. So, but we're gonna talk about that later. Wrap up the national championship, and for those of you who don't know, Thomas Stevens is a diehard Clemson fan. So we'll talk about that later. We'll give you a little more time to get your bearings about you, sir.
Oof.
No doubt.
Yeah, so, man, we got a lot of stuff on the table this week. Excited. We are welcoming back Brad J. Brown from Brad J. Resumes to talk about, new career options in the new year. So we hadn't spoken to Brad in a while, so it's going to be good to have him back. So, we're going to talk some NFL, some national championship, wrap that up. And we got some listener questions, and we're going to wrap this up with some trivia. So we will be right back with Brad J. Brown. All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is J.R. Glenf again with Alvin Glenf, Thomas Stevens. We do have our guest with us. It's been a minute, and we are long overdue. Brad J. Brown of Brad J. Resumes. What's good with you, Brad?
Family, how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Thanks for having me back.
Good, man. Thank you for showing up for us, man. We haven't talked to you in a while. We kind of wanted to. It's a new year, man. It's 2020. It's a new decade and all that stuff, man. We had to check in with you and make sure we're giving these people some good advice, some good pointers, some good tips on how to continue and how to better their search for career opportunities in the new year. So thanks for being here, man.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Well, we first off, man, again, Happy New Year. What's new with Brad J. Resumes? I know you got a lot going on, man. What's new with you?
Yeah, right now, man, pretty much doing just the same thing as far as for, writing resumes. My clientele has expanded across various cities throughout the U.S. Right now, as far as projects that I have going on, I'm currently writing an ebook slash e-guide, to like a step-by-step guide to how effectively write resumes. Also, I plan on running webinars as well. So that's something else that I'm looking into actually doing, going into this first quarter. So yeah, I'm really excited, man. Got a lot of things going on right now.
Good stuff, man. Well,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Damn right. All the best, man. And of course, anything we can do, let us know.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Oh, so first question, man, for the new year. I know a lot of people, wonder, when's the best time to look for a job, or make a career change, or make sure that resume is updated. Is the new year a good time to look for a new job or career, and why so?
Yeah, I would say so. Really to jumpstart the actual job search going into the new year, I would say actually starting in December. That way you can already have the jump start going into the new year.
Gotcha.
But January and February most definitely are good months to actually be looking for a brand new job and making a transition into a new career field because, they have updated budgets, updated, I guess, like funds, sales forecast, things of that such that companies have at the very beginning of the year. So yeah, going into the new year, January and February definitely are good months to actually be looking to make a transition to a new career or new position.
Okay. And what are some things that we all should do at the beginning of the year to enhance our resumes and our career goals?
Pretty much set your boundaries, set your priorities. Pretty much write down what it is that you would like to actually do. So if you're knowing that you want to go into a new role, write down, things that you want to have, whether you want a high salary, whether you want more flexibility on the job as far as for work-life balance, vacation time, things of that sort, or a better workplace. So just write down your goals of what you actually want and target. That way you don't have a broad, job search. You can minimize it and you know exactly what you want, and then you just, align your career goals and you go straight after.
Right. Okay. And so, say somebody misses like that window, say January, February. Are there like some points through the year where it's just like slower times where if you do miss that window, you may want to like brace yourself for it?
Yeah, I would say maybe July, being that it is, pretty much like a vacation month. A lot of people go on family vacations. It's summertime, so a lot of people probably, as far as human resources personnel, may be on vacation. A lot of people may not be updating the job boards or the job sites, things of that sort. And also November and December are also months that are pretty much slower because, the holiday season is in. A lot of people are also going on vacation. Now, you do have seasonal jobs that are available during that time, but for like full-time positions and things of that sort, yeah, November, December is also pretty much like a slow month as well.
Gotcha. All right. And last question I got for you regarding resumes. Why is it important for even like stably employed people to keep their resume up to date all times a year?
Pretty much, you just want to just be refreshed and stay up to date because, a lot of times on the job, you may have different skills that you may obtain, throughout, your tenure there. You may get a promotion, may even go back to school and get a degree or a certification or even licensing and things of that sort. So you just always want to just stay up to date because you don't want to go 5-10 years without updating your resume because at that point you're going to forget every single thing that you probably have worked on. I just recommend at least touching your resume, even if you do have a full-time job, maybe three times out of the year, maybe beginning, the middle of the year, and towards the end, just to reflect and just to keep everything updated. That way, it won't be any issues when you're trying to scramble around and trying to, update your resume when you see a position out that you want to go for.
Gotcha. Al, Pooh, y'all got any questions? I got one question for you, Brad, that I didn't want you to know I was going to ask you. I want to keep you on your toes. But Al, Pooh, y'all got any questions before I ask the final question?
I guess I got a question. Are there any recommendations of things people could be doing like on an extracurricular basis, like not necessarily professional, but just other things that they could be doing that could be listed on their resume.
Yeah, I would say things not so much as like hobby. I would say more so like volunteer experience and community service.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very big thing, especially going into 2020. That's been a trend lately. So a lot of volunteer experience, a lot of community service projects, things of that such in community. That's a very big plus adding to your resume now, going into like I said, 2020.
Okay.
All right. That's cool. I have one as well. How much is too much for your resume?
You mean as far as for I guess
Like the jobs, like you have so many jobs on there, and it's 3.5, 4 pages. How much is like too much? Like too
I would
much.
okay, I would keep it just depending on experience. So I would say like somebody that's 5 years into their career, 10 years into their career, probably 1 or 2 pages. If
Okay.
you been working 20, 25 years, I would say 2 to 3 pages, but you want to just be concise. You don't want to put every single job that you ever worked. You try to keep it in the range of the 10 to 15 years as far as for your previous experience. And also you want to just make sure that you keep your relevant experience to the position that you're applying for as well.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, so
I have one more question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna get kind of technical. So should it be when you looking in at like say the tense of how you write? Like I facilitated, or is it like I facilitate? Like just simple things like that. Because one of the things in reviewing resumes, sometimes I see inconsistencies, and where sometimes it seems like they talking about the current, sometimes it seems like they talking about the past, and like, have you ever noticed that, or is that something? Any advice about that in terms of our listeners?
Can't hear you, Brett. Okay, now we hear you.
Yeah, so as far for the tense, yeah, you want to keep that consistent. So if it's in the past, you want to make sure, like you said, facilitated XYZ or coordinated XYZ. And then if it's in the present, of course, facilitates this or coordinate this. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to the tense as well, because a lot of recruiters, they can actually ding you for that as well. I have seen that a lot, as far for when I've been writing resumes, I have came across that kind of thing.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good question. It's something I never really thought about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Brad, so I ain't gonna completely put you on the spot. So you ain't gotta name names. I ain't expect you to name names anyway. But it is a new year. So in 2019, what's the craziest resume you've seen come across your desk?
Oh man, craziest resume. The craziest resume or the craziest thing I've seen? Probably email. Oh, I've seen a lot, man.
Yeah.
I've seen some rough emails come across, man. They can be like, "What are you thinking?" I've actually seen an email address that said "twerk queen."
Man, come on, man. I mean, was she applying to Magic City? If so, then she might be on to something.
It actually was. She was wanting to go for. I never forget it. She actually was going to go for a corporate type of position, man. Like seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. Seriously. That's why if you see like on my IG page when I do like the tips and things of that such, I always stress the importance of having a professional email address. If you're confused on that, just use your last name and your first name, and maybe your middle initial. Right. Because resume can definitely get tossed out as far as for having a unprofessional email address. That's one thing that they definitely look at.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I would have to say just the unprofessional email addresses
Probably, I'm not pretty much like big on the format as far for seeing something crazy, but yeah, definitely the verbiage, some of the resumes, yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I think people need to really understand how competitive it is out here, and how just the littlest of things like an email address can disqualify you, because people who are doing the hiring are looking to weed people out. So they're looking for anything. Like, I was on an interview panel recently. I excluded somebody because I could see their do-rag line on the top of their head. Like, all those who wear do-rags, like, if you wear it long enough, sometimes you'll see that thing on
top of the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Top of the head.
I ain't like looking at that during the interview. I excluded them for that.
Man,
I guess I'm like, if you wear do-rag, you know better than that. You
man can have waves in your interview.
You can have waves, just don't have that thing on the top of your head.
You took the do-rag off right before you walked in.
Right.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. You better come correct.
Yeah, he drove to the interview in his do-rag.
But like you said, it's the little things, like contact information, like missing email addresses, missing phone numbers. I'm thinking, like, if you really want the position, you would make sure that all of this information is actually updated. Because, I mean, if you don't have an updated contact telephone number, I mean, they're going to just move on to the next person. They can't contact you. They call somebody else. You're not there.
It also speaks to your thoroughness. You know what I mean? Like, how thorough are you? Are you doing it completely, which is what you're looking for in an employee? Yeah,
that's true. Because you can't list, like, on your resume that, like you said, you're high attention to detail or organized.
Exactly.
You have incorrect information as far as for contact. So, yeah, it's like you said, it's all that kind of stuff that plays a part to it.
Yeah. And so I know there are things that are kind of, resumes are fluid. And so trends on resumes, so like things like objectives, I know are like out now when they used to be a thing. Is there any other thing? Like, I know some people still put like their home address on the resume. Is there anything other than the objective that's absolutely out?
References. You don't have to include references on your resume, because now pretty much the recruiters, if they need that information, they will just ask, or they would just go ahead and just contact who they would need to, anyway. You really don't have to include the references, in your resume anymore.
Cool. Okay. And then, like, for the phone number, and I know it's 2020, so it shouldn't be a big deal, but have you ever come across an instance where, everybody has cell phones now, but somebody who has an out-of-state phone number to get a ding for not having a local number?
I haven't heard of anyone getting like a ding, I guess, as far as for the out of state number. Usually if a person's trying to apply, I guess, out of state, they won't list like their address, or if they do list the address, they won't list like the physical address. They'll just list like the state they're from. Gotcha. And then we'll mention inside of like their career profile, looking to transition to XYZ or wherever state, looking to relocate to this state. They'll just, list it that way, or I will list it that way on their resume.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I haven't heard of anybody getting dinged as far as for the telephone number.
Okay. Cool. That's all I got. Al, Pooh?
Nah, that's all I got, man. Appreciate the info.
Yeah.
Yeah, very informative. Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for having me on, man.
No doubt, man. We'll go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, your email, social media, website, all that stuff.
Okay, so my email address is bradjresumes@gmail.com. My website is www.bradjresumes.com. And also, you can find me on Facebook at Brad J. Brown, as well as on IG at Brad J. Resumes. So there's plenty of ways to get in contact with me. I look to hear from you. And thank you guys once again for having me on.
No doubt, man. Checked out the updated website. It's dope, man. Loving it.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Thank you.
No doubt. Everybody, again, it's Brad J. Brown from Brad J. Resumes. Brad, it's good talking to you. We'll talk to you soon, bro.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Peace.
that was good, man, as always.
Oh man, appreciate
it. Yeah. Brad always is dropping some really, really solid information. And I would encourage anyone who is looking to make a career change or looking at, you have your eye on a promotion, reach out to Brad if you're not sure, or if you think your resume or your profile can be enhanced. The man does great work. So, gosh.
Man, we come with that heat. We don't expose our listeners to no bullshit. Like, everybody that come here, you better come correct. And he always come correct. Always come correct.
Right. And Twerk Queen, if you out there still looking for a job, send me your resume. I want to see the Twerk Queen.
Is that what you want to send, your resume, or you want to send the pictures too? A video?
Did I say resume?
Maybe that's what she meant by resume. Okay,
just send me your Instagram handle. Oh man, well let's jump into these questions.
All right, bro. I ain't got no time. I ain't got no time for you to be telling me you sleeping on the couch.
Go ahead.
Talking about her Twitter handle.
I'm on the wrong show. I need to be with West Coast Money.
Yeah, you already know.
Or relationship status. I need to be on single folk shows, right?
Nah, that's not the show you want to be on. I mean, you don't want to be on that show. You don't want to be single, bro.
Nah. So yeah, let me stop bugging before I be on the couch with Yosh and CL.
Not a good place to be.
Right,
I bet you them brothers don't spend a lot of days on the couch though.
Nah, unless they want to. Like if they fall asleep playing Madden or some shit.
Hello.
Yeah, true.
Fall asleep playing each other in 2K. Like, man, I fell asleep on the couch. That's my choice.
Get up and go to bed.
Right. I had cereal for dinner. Oh man.
True.
Yo, I never forget that this is maybe 5-6 years ago, before I left Atlanta. Like, my wife and kids went out of town. They was gonna be in New York for 7 days. So I was like, man, I got the house to myself for a week. My kids had just started getting into PlayStation, so they had a new PS4. And my sons really didn't know nothing about Madden, so I was like, fuck that. I'm going to buy Madden, and I'm going to turn it up old school. Like, I'm just going to play Madden all week.
Just go in.
Right. Man, I went and got Madden, set up the franchise, played one game, and I was done. I was like, I can't do this shit no more. But, I had pushed the couch up to the TV and everything. Like, I was in it. But, yeah, man, that's when I realized, like, this single shit ain't for me no more. Like, for 2 days, like, I had cereal for dinner, beer for breakfast. I drank out the same cup for like 2 days.
It gets old fast.
Right. After 2 days, I was like, yeah, where they at? I need them to come back. Like, that shit got old really quickly. So, yeah, shout out to CL, Yosh, Money, West Coast. Yeah, no power to you. I can't do this shit.
More power to you.
No doubt.
So, yeah, my hopefully mine and you guys' relationship status is stagnant. It ain't changing. No time soon.
No. Man, I'm going on 25 this August, yo. 25
Jeez.
years.
Man, what's that like that? Is that the diamond anniversary or something?
Man, that's the thank you, Lordy anniversary. That's
right. Man, 25. Man.
25, yeah.
Whew.
So, 25 in.
Hey, speaking of more power to you. More power to you, sir. Well,
yeah, appreciate your sister too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We got married the same year.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we could, celebrate together because, glad
That's big,
to be here.
Man. Right. So, me and Pooh gonna start a segment called Relationship Goals, just dedicated to you. Yeah. Man,
y'all did the elbow. That's what they call it, right? Like that 25 years, the elbow. I don't know why, but
what's that? A turning point? A curve?
It's like, I have no clue. When I was watching some or listening to some, and it was like, oh, they got 25 years in the bean. They got the elbow. I don't know what the hell it means, but whatever. Yeah.
Maybe that's when you realize what your wife's most effective weapon is.
The elbow.
The elbow.
1 or 2.
Right.
No doubt.
All right. Well, on that note, like this first listener question is gone. It's pretty dope to me. So, Al, you mentioned you got 25 years, so you'd have to go back the furthest. So, Tyra from Jacksonville, Florida, wants to know if you could go back to when you first met your significant other, and give her advice about being with you in a relationship, what would it be?
Wow. So, like I'm saying, the first time I met my wife, I told her I was gonna be with her, and she was already with somebody. And I'm stepping to her like, we gonna be together. First day I met my wife.
What your man got to do with me?
Like, so if and I was intoxicated.
Of course.
So of course. But I was in full Alvin mode, full glimpse mode. Obnoxious. I was an 18-year-old, so I was about as obnoxious of a glimpse as I could be.
Asshole.
I would tell her,
throttle.
asshole on full throttle. No idea that I was even an asshole. And I would tell her probably that the guy you're going to fall in love with, it's going to change, but not a lot. So, like, who you see is who you getting, for the most part. For the most part, like, he gonna get older, he gonna mature, but the guy you falling in love with, that's who you should be signing up with to be with for the rest of your life.
All right,
that's who he gonna be. And just prepare for the ride, because there's gonna be some ups and downs, but it's gonna be fun and filled with love. Is probably what I would tell her. And looking back, if I could, but yo, like, you know, she hated me at first.
I wonder why.
Yeah, she did not like me at all.
Wow.
Like, who is this motherfucker?
How long did it take you to change your mind?
By 2 months.
Wow.
I think the ice was, and that really wasn't even being with her, like, because I just met her, and then 2 months later I see her. But like, as soon as I see her again, I put the full court press right back on it. Like,
remember me?
I meant that. I meant that shit. You thought I was bullshit. I meant that shit. So I mean, if I can tell the story real quick, I met her in a summer program. So she was a high school student going into college. At the college we were attending, and me knowing that students were going to be up there, me and a homeboy went to visit to just look at the girls to get a head start. You know what I mean? Like, let y'all know, hey, I'm me, get to know me, because I'm going to be checking you out when you come back in September. Happened to meet her and was like, oh, hell yeah. Like,
wow.
I want to be with you. And then so we go back, like, I'm only there for the weekend, go back to New York, enjoy the city. But when school starts, as she's moving in, I'm at the bottom of the steps, like,
Word.
how you been?
Wow.
And get to meet my future mother-in-law. She's looking at me like, who the fuck is this dude? How do you know my wife? How do you know my daughter?
Right.
Because I'm walking up like we all friendly and familiar, like give her a hug, like, hey, glad you made it. Can I take anything up? What can I do here? And the mom's is like, you got a boyfriend, far as I know. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? From then on, though, I got a smile. You know what I mean? Like, that was well received. Like, oh, okay, look at this dude. He meant it. And then on, by a couple of months later, we was dating.
Wow. Sorry, boyfriend. Go kick rocks.
Sorry, boyfriend. And just to show you how full Alvin Glimpse mode I was 30 years ago. I'm really not that crazy, but 30 years ago, the first night I meet her, I tell her we're going to be dating by Christmas.
Jeez.
I know you got a man. I don't give a damn, because that shit don't fly up here. You 4 hours away from that kid. I trust my
right. Bet on you. Damn right.
Right. Then had another couple of swigs and was like, "Can I change that?" Thanksgiving.
Dang.
Thanksgiving. Shit.
Oh,
I'm not even.
man.
Why should I be humble with you? Thanksgiving. I'm getting this one.
Wow.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
and did it.
Wow. Shit.
Did it.
Can't. And then shit. 25 years later, can't say you was wrong one bit.
I
All right.
She walks into my office. I just told the story of how we met.
Oh shit. Well, does she mind getting on telling us her version of this story?
Would you like to tell your version? She's shy now.
Oh, now she's shy.
That's funny.
Well, hello, Mrs. Glimpf. How are you? And we're just gonna have to stick with your husband's version of the story. So,
Right. Unless you want to clear it up.
right.
You sure you don't want to clear it up? No, she's
All right.
no thank
Well,
you. No
but
thank
just let her know what it. We'll continue rolling with the version that she called you, Mr. Alvin. How can you win me over? We'll go with that version.
It's the right now.
All right, Mr. Right Now. Oh man! All right, Pooh. Same question. If you could go back to when you and your wife first met, what advice would you give her about being in a relationship with you?
Man, it's pretty, I'm a short and sweet guy. It's to be patient with me. That I guess I am emotionally stunted and I don't even know it. So I guess a lot of things that I probably won't know how to handle or won't handle correctly, and just be patient with me.
Okay. All right. You while we at it, you want to go ahead and tell us how y'all met?
Yeah, I guess I can.
You want to give us your version of how y'all met, at least?
So this one. Well, I don't know, she wildin', but so we at this spot called Banana Joe's.
Banana Joe's.
Banana Joe's, yeah. Thursday night, college students out there. We out there. They hustling us on how we can get in. Yeah. Your blue jeans can't be blue, and just all kind of wild stuff. Just because they didn't want us in. However, we get in college night. I'm dancing, going through the club, living life, and and my homeboy he comes up to me, face wet, shirt wet, and I was like, "Yo, what's going on with you?" He was like, "The bartender, yo, she just sprayed water on me, spraying this other guy. She sprayed me." And I was like, "Nah, get out of here, Los." It was Los.
Yeah.
So he spazzed and he nutting up, and me, I don't know what I could do. Why I took the fight on. I was like, "Yo, you sprayed my guy. Like, what's going on?" So now I'm spazzing on the bartender. Like, what's your problem? And so the manager comes up. "Hey, what's going on?" I was like, "Man, we here and we having a good time, and the bartender just sprays this guy for being a jerk, and she sprayed us. I mean, what's going on?" And he was like, "What? So what do you think we need to do? What do you think we need to do?" I said, "I don't know, man. Give us a drink or something. I mean, take care of us. Some type of hospitality." And he was like, "Give you a drink." Man, what the fuck you think this is? And this, and that, and that. And before I know it, it's like 3 offensive linemen for the Gamecocks, like picking me up, throwing me out.
Wow.
Now get this now. I'm getting thrown out on my nose, and I look back, and I see Los on the dance floor dancing again.
Los like, I don't know that dude.
Right, as I get escorted out. So I'm posted up just on the corner waiting on those guys, just watching the people go through. So I was like, well, I just sit here and, and commence target practice. Whatever comes out, I'ma kill.
Right.
Yeah, So I'm thinking I'm about to get number after number. You know how we do it. We gotta establish the night some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm chilling with the guy that walked out the club with me, and I see 2 young ladies walking up, laughing, giggling, or whatever. So I was like, well, here's my first kill. So, she's walking up laughing, and of course I, approach. Hey, you guys, it's early. It's 12:15. You guys, you leaving already? And she says, well, I have an exam tomorrow. I just came to hang out, relax for a minute, and I have to go finish studying. So I was like, well, you mind if I walk you to your car? And which I, never say nothing like that. But anyway, I walked her to a car, got a number. Then I called her like 3 months later, and I guess the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she didn't ask you why your clothes was all wrinkled and your nose was bloody. She didn't ask you none of that shit.
Nah, I was pretty intact, pretty clean. But, but of course, she was like, this is her story. She was like, yeah, you try to talk to me because my butt big and all this. I was like, yo, how could I see your butt from the front? You
Most Def
wildin'.
Huh? Most Def said it.
Hey, I was like, yo, you wildin'.
Right.
I was like, yo, you was, 100 paces away, and I'm in the front of you, yo. You wildin'. But that's the story, though. What's good?
It's just me, you, and Al, and a couple hundred people listening.
Go ahead.
It's just us, man. Did you?
Nah.
Did you see it?
Nah.
Did you peep it before? You didn't.
I
Sure?
didn't.
Okay.
All I know was like her hair was wavy, so I was like, oh, okay, wavy hair. And I was like, oh, okay, good smile. Then I said, oh, okay, nice frame. But I couldn't see anything else.
No, and that ass though. That's what you said. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Oh man, man. Well, we'll talk to her soon. We'll get the real story.
No doubt. No. Oh man, can't believe anything she said.
Can't believe that she said. Oh man. All right. That's a good question. Like, mine's pretty simple too. I think I would tell my wife that I'm kind of a loner to a fault at times. So, even if may seem withdrawn or just want my time to myself, don't take it personally. I'm an introvert, so sometimes it's not that I don't like people. It's just that I have to recharge when I'm around a lot of people. So if I get in those moments where I'm just off to myself and don't take it personally, I still love you. And then also I'm big on family. So my family unit and my extended family means a lot to me. So, it's going to be times when my family calls and you're going to say, damn, again? Or damn, you got to be at this one too. Like, it's going to be those times. But trust me, they're going to love you more than they love me at times. So you might as well take the ride with me. All right. So, but yeah. Who asked that question? Tyra. Damn good question.
That's a good question. That's a question I've never even considered.
Yeah, me neither. Really good question.
It is.
All right. Our next question, our second listener question, is from Nathan in Pleasant Hill, California. And shout out to Pleasant Hill because over the last 60 days, Pleasant Hill is responsible for over 30% of our listenership. Like, how crazy is that?
That's great.
So shout out to Pleasant Hill, wherever Pleasant Hill.
Yeah.
Right.
No doubt. Big up Pleasant Hill.
Right. So I don't know.
What part of, because I've seen that sign somewhere. Where's Pleasant Hill?
I don't know. And I was at my desk and I was going to check that out and see where they were. And I got side swiped by something else and never went. But yeah, shout out to Pleasant Hill. But Nathan wants to know, and speaking about NBA and NFL players, Pooh, you first. Which one player from each the NBA and the NFL would have been an all-time great if it were not for injury? Another good question. So one from the NBA, one from the NFL. Who would have been like an all-time great if they didn't suffer a serious injury or a string of injuries, whatever kind of injury?
Well, of course, you know who I'm going to say for NBA, right?
Yeah, Greg Odom.
Stop it.
Kwame Brown.
Right.
Hey, I mean, y'all know I'm gonna say the Windy City Assassin, man. I'm gonna go with the other Pooh. Derrick
Go
Rose,
ahead with the
man.
knees. Yeah.
That's his nickname, Pooh. Yeah, but I'm going with Derrick Rose for basketball. I mean, you saw it, and with the NFL, how can you not? I mean, I'm sure it's a plethora of them, but how can you not go with Bo Knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what Bo could have done? I'm going with Bo, Derrick Rose and Bo. Those are my two.
Tough to beat that. Yeah. All right. Al, what about you?
So hoops, I'm going with Grant Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I think Grant Hill just would have won more and would have just had a better career where he could have maximized his athleticism, which was elite level when he was younger. So I just think we would have seen him have more success in the league. Although even once he came back, he was a really, really good player.
Mm-hmm.
When he got hurt, he was primed to be one of the best in the league. I just think he was at that level, and I think he would have been like Kawhi, like what we're watching now with him. I think Grant was kind of on that level of his skill set. So I'm going with Grant Hill. Really liked him. But this now for football, I was going with Bo Jackson, but who took that one? So I'm gonna go a little bit further, and y'all gonna have to Google this dude. But there was a running back out of Oklahoma called Marcus Dupree.
Marcus Dupree. Yeah.
Marcus Dupree.
You need to watch his 30 for 30. That shit is
Yeah, don't have to Google him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That dude right there.
Right.
Yeah, what is 6'3", run a 4.3, something like that.
Yeah. With a Jerry curl.
Yeah.
He was special.
Mm-hmm.
Like special. And I think, staying healthy, everything going the way it could have gone, and him, just having a long career, I think he would have put a lot of yards up and been just one of the best running backs we've seen in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, damn. Two other good ones. I'm
Yeah,
sitting there
that was
racking my brains trying to figure out how I'm gonna find different names, but I think in the NBA I'm gonna go with Larry Johnson. Al, I had to go there.
Yeah, grandmama.
Yeah, LJ was my guy. I even mimicked his haircut and bought all his shoes and stole his post moves. So, but we all know that, once back injuries start to set in, you're never the same again. So, Larry Johnson was special. Like, he was a man amongst boys. So, as good as and as clutch as he was with the Knicks, he was a shell of himself at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Nowhere close.
Yeah.
He was physically dominant, like what people are predicting of Zion.
Right. Yeah, and roughly, same height, but a little bit more chiseled.
Better shooter.
Right. Yeah. But you're right. Like, he's just physically dominant. Able to go over people, rebound with authority. Like, he was a man.
It was fun watching him. Play.
Yeah, like I always tell this story, like when they did the Nolan Richardson 30 for 30, and when Arkansas, back then, the 40 Minutes of Hell with Arkansas and Nolan Richardson, they were damn good too. That back in was it Lee Mayberry, Todd Day, Oliver Miller, those days. And they were really good, until they had to face UNLV. UNLV was Stacey Augmon, Larry Johnson, Greg Anthony, Anderson Hunt. And that when this one play, when Larry Johnson came down and just tomahawked on everybody and looked over at the Arkansas bench. And, Larry Johnson back then, and in college, he was built like a linebacker, with a gold tooth in his mouth. You know, just looked like a man. like he
literally.
Yeah,
literally
like
looked like a grown
he was a
man,
grown
26
man, right?
years old.
Yeah, he looked like he was, like he drove his kids to the game. Like that's how he looked.
His teenage kids.
Exactly. Like he got a mortgage and shit. So in a 85 Regal or something. But yeah, he dunked on everybody and looked over at Nolan Richardson and pointed at him and said, "Hey man, you gotta go get you some men." Like that's how he played the game. And the next year, Nolan Richardson went out and recruited Corliss Williamson. He had to go get him a man.
That
Big nasty.
Right. Right. So I would go with LJ, and for football, I'm gonna give the offensive lineman some love, and I'm gonna go with Tony Baselli.
Okay.
Yeah, Tony Baselli was. I know we always have this debate on a lot of different issues, whether you'd rather have the prolonged, like the longevity, or if you value the peak more. But Tony Baselli was the best left tackle I've ever seen, and that includes Walter Jones, Orlando Pace, Jonathan Ogden, Tyron Smith, all of them in his prime. But he was only healthy about 4 years, and then he suffered a shoulder injury and was never the same again. And he's still like on the Hall of Fame ballot. Probably never get in because of that shortness of his career, but good God, was he dominant. Like, he was the only dude I've ever seen, like, stifle Bruce Smith and, like, Reggie. Like, just nobody could get by that dude. So,
right.
Baselli was a monster. But, yeah, another damn good question, Nathan.
Where did he go to school? Where was Baselli from?
Southern Cal.
Yeah, he was a Southern Cal.
Yeah.
'Cause he had a great college career.
Yeah. And so he was, kind of the next Munoz is what they would call him, because he was from Southern Cal too. But yeah, man, Tony, and he was a big part of what Jacksonville getting to the AFC Championship in their second year of existence. So
yeah,
that'll never happen again. And by the way, but back then, you remember when like the Panthers and the Jaguars came in and they got it's like teams had to release like 10 players off their roster.
Yeah.
And they got the pick of everyone, like just two teams picking back and forth throughout the whole league's right. Like, it's crazy. That'll never happen again because they won't do it that way.
Right.
But yeah, man. So, Nathan, good question.
One guy I was that just kind of crossed my mind to also was Sterling Sharp.
Yeah.
Oh, and Gale Sears.
Yeah,
Gale's
of course.
my mind too, but he's already looked at it as one of the best already.
Right.
Sterling though.
Oh my
Shannon's big brother. With Brett Favre, man, for a stretch, they was unstoppable.
Yeah. Like if Shannon would have stayed healthy, like they would have been on some, Montana to Rice type shit. Yeah. Right, because they were the most. That was the most dominant battery in the league for like 2-3 years. But yeah, that damn, I remember that. Yeah, that hit close to home. And something else. Well, shout out to our listeners who sent us questions. Before I get into rambling, Nathan, Tyra, thank you for your questions. Anybody else who wants to send us questions, we really do appreciate it. We have fun with these. So if y'all want to hit us up via email, email us at info@godefylife.com, or you can hit us up on social media at GoDefyLife on all platforms. Keep sending us those questions. We definitely enjoy those. So, Al, did you realize, I was listening to, I forgot, it may have been Colin Cowherd, talking about Jimmy Johnson, and shout out to Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher being elected to the Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
That's good stuff.
Congratulations.
Right, congrats to them. But just talking about Jimmy Johnson, and I didn't realize, I guess because that dynasty kept going after Jimmy left, but when Jimmy left Dallas, do you realize that the oldest superstar they had on that team was still just 27 years old?
Dude.
Michael Irvin was just 27.
We was about to take the run of runs.
Oh, my God.
But they changed the game in terms of free agency,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted more parity in the league. And but I don't know if it was the salary cap. I can't remember what something was implemented during that stretch to where we started losing a Ken Norton. Like, you know what I mean? Some of those players that
Alvin
were
Harper.
not correct. But yeah, man, we had an amazing group of young talent, and a lot of that was due to that Herschel Walker trade.
Mm-hmm.
But they made some other shrewd moves back then as well.
Right, and Jimmy really was responsible for like modernizing the draft.
Yeah,
like,
that
you
too.
know, he came up with the whole trade value system, all that shit. Like, and until Jerry had to have the credit, you know, Jimmy was on the way. Like, I really think that team could have won. They could have been the first like franchise to win 3 straight.
Oh yeah, and we ran 3.
Easily.
Got 3 out of 4.
Right.
And that's an ill legacy to think about how much the trade value, how much that's taken into consideration when transactions are made.
Right.
To know that, you know, you you came up with that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out
Absolutely.
to Jimmy.
Yeah, and shout out to Jerry for being Jerry. Did you see what Jerry said in his statement about Jimmy being elected? Because, of course, Jerry's been in for years. I don't know how he gets to be the first one to get in. Jimmy should have been in. But Jerry, his statement was, our dreams came true. We did it. Like, you still making this, like, this is a Jimmy moment, man. Let him have his moment. Like, you still got to throw yourself in there. But, yeah, man, fucking Jerry.
I mean, he's
And I ain't even a Cowboys
the narcissist of narcissists.
Yeah,
he's
narcissist zero.
Yes, he's narcissist zero. I'll pass the torch. I'll pass the torch for a second.
Oh man,
But yeah,
wow.
Well deserved.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I mean, of course, it's how you feel about y'all. How y'all feel about this whole centennial class thing? This Hall of Fame class.
You know, I guess I look at it as it's kind of fugazi a little bit to me, but I look at it as it's a good way to acknowledge the 100 years and also kind of get some people in that need to be in. You know?
Yeah, I guess, you know, a lot of people do get kind of forgotten by time. But I would I've been thought Jimmy Johnson should have been in. Bill Cowher's, you know, was my coach for a while. You know, was the coach and still his coach. But even I thought he wasn't a Hall of Famer.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah. And if you think about it, if Bill Cowher was a Hall of Famer, Mike Tomlin's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, I just hope they don't water it down too much. I mean, there are guys that should be in, and even a lot of those guys won't get in now. I think, you know, like Donnie Shell, I think Darren Woodson, a lot of those guys should be Hall of Famers. So hopefully they, you know, catch up on a lot of those names that they missed. But I'm still, as happy as I am for Bill Cowher, I'm still looking at it like, yeah, I don't know about you.
Yeah. Kind of like those Houston Astros World Series that they got. Let me throw that shot to any Houston Astros fan out there.
And so the Red Sox just fired their manager too?
Did they?
Yeah.
Well deserved. He came up with the scheme.
Right. Yeah.
He should go.
Yeah.
And honestly, for the record, I think they should. They didn't take the World Series, but I thought they should have, and maybe because I'm a Dodger fan, but they should have had their World Series stripped.
Yeah, but, you know, kudos to Major League Baseball for actually taking a stand on something.
Yeah, they did.
You know,
they didn't go far enough.
I don't think they went far enough either. I think they should have stripped them, because either you robbed the bank or you didn't.
Correct.
You know, so
they robbed the bank.
They robbed the bank. So, but the NFL, we talk about it all the time, is they, you know, flip flop and, you know, meander on things and can't make their mind up right.
You see what Pete Rose said?
Yeah. Yeah.
He like, man, this is much worse than
Right.
me betting on game, and y'all banned me from the sport.
Right. Yeah. And really, baseball really didn't go far enough because they were only going to suspend them for a year. The teams took it upon themselves to say, nah, fuck that. Right. We going to fire them, right? Like, we're going to take this even further. So, at least baseball acknowledged it, and unlike the NFL, don't try to sweep it under the rug and know that in time everybody will forget, and all we can do is just really talk shit about it. So kudos to baseball and those owners for taking a stand.
Right up there with what was it, Spygate?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like that's pretty much equals. So yeah. So, let's talk. I know you mentioned it, Al, at the beginning of the show, but Pooh, I'm sorry, we got to talk about it. The college football national championship was, well, by the time you guys hear this, it'll be 2 nights ago. The LSU Tigers beating the Clemson Tigers 42-25, in which for the most part through 2.5 quarters was a pretty good game. Then I don't know if there was depth or, overall talent or quarterback play or SEC athlete. I don't know what it is, but at some point LSU started to separate themselves for whatever reason, and ended up pulling away. Al, you first. What was your biggest takeaway from just like the overall game, as far as like just seeing how dominant LSU can be in stretches?
So for me, what the biggest takeaway was that the gap in talent in terms of LSU offense compared to the Clemson defense was bigger than the gap in talent. There was no gap in talent with the Clemson offense versus the LSU defense. So where LSU's gap, especially in the outside with the wide receivers, was able to consistently make plays throughout the game, where Clemson was able to make some plays, but it was a lot harder, and you didn't see the open wide receivers to where there were more LSU open wide receivers. And, that to me was the game, the difference in the game, man. LSU's wide receivers look like, and I'm not, in this game, they look like NFL number one wide receivers. And in that game, Clemson's wide receivers looked like number 2 at best. Like they would be a good number 2, but they didn't look elite.
Right.
And maybe it was because of the cornerbacks that were being put against them. But I thought Clemson had some good cornerbacks too coming into the game.
Right.
But those LSU wide receivers were getting separation.
Right.
And you didn't see a lot of that in the Clemson wide receivers. And to me, when you put the pressure of it being a championship game, the pressure of the LSU pass rush, I think that explains more. The quarterback, he didn't have his best game, but, I think Clemson played pretty well. Like, they made some mistakes, but I didn't think it was a poorly played game, nothing to be ashamed of. No. It just looked like LSU was the best team in the nation this year.
Yeah, and when Clemson's receivers were able to get separation, it was usually off of broken plays. Extended plays by the quarterback getting out of the pocket, and they keep moving and got separation. But through their regular concepts of their routes, they weren't able to get separation. And I think a lot of that has to do with LSU has maybe 5 future starters in the back end of that defense. This future NFL starters in their defensive backfield. Clemson might have 2. When you, especially with Clemson employing 7 DBs for a lot of the night, at some point we're gonna find somebody to pick on. So I think that it had a lot to do with it. And if you got 7 DBs trying to consistently cover 5 wideouts and a running back, somebody gonna get beat. And they did, right? I think you're absolutely right. Pooh, what was your takeaway from the game? I held out as long as I could. Eventually, I had to ask you, man.
Nah, you good. I mean, I'm not. taking anything away from LSU. This was a great year for them. This is our worst defense probably in the last 4 years. So as in talent for talent, like collectively team ball, they put up great stats. But talent for talent, guy for guy, stud for stud, this is our worst D in the last 4 years. So with that, man, like I was telling anyone that will listen, talent wise, the Ohio State team is more comparable than to LSU than us. You know, talent wise, we just was able to put it together, get coached up, and some great things to go our way. But talent wise, Ohio State's loaded and LSU's loaded as well. But like I said, we got a few bad breaks. We didn't have that slot guy that we can depend on, and we didn't get any separation. I don't know what T got banged up, and when he did get there, he didn't make the catch, or things were Trevor. He was off slightly. Once we took the lead, I don't know what happened, but after that, Trevor got off a little slightly, and I just didn't like the feeling. I didn't like the feeling of the game, and definitely a few calls could have went our way that went their way. Not saying we would have won the game, but I mean, once momentum starts to going and moving, I mean, it's a snowball effect. But man for man, I mean, I think we got outplayed, but like I said, man for man, I just thought that their receivers was going to get the ball. And our DBs wasn't completely out of the play. Like, if they were able to turn and look, the ball was there. But I mean, Burrow just put it on he put the ball in a peanut pod. I mean, it was on the one, and it was right over the DB's fingers. And a few of those passes, if our DBs get the head turn around, they're there. But we just couldn't, okay, for instance, big play, they're up 4. The kid did drop a pick 6, but we had him like 3rd and 15, 3rd and 19. The kid ran like a double move post, and our DB just turned and nailed the guy. Like, he just took out the wide receiver.
Yeah, on the underthrown ball.
On the thrown ball, Jay, and all he had to do was turn and look, and that would have been the easy pick. Right. That would have been the easy pick. The thing about it, they DBs was attempting to attack the ball. Our guys weren't, because I can, I know at least 7 plays where, okay, the ball was in the air coming to our receivers, and they DBs was like yanking down arms, and I mean, to me it was a little early, but they was letting them play. Right. But they were going after the ball, but they was yanking arms, pulling down. They was attempting to attack the ball. Our DBs didn't do that the entire game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's usually is the separation between guys you consider starters on the next level, and those you don't, because they're all pretty good athletes. So they're going to stay in scheme with routes and be able to run stride for stride, but it's the ball skills,
right?
And getting your head around and playing the pocket. Those are the things that separate good corners from average corners or guys who may not play on the next level. It's those things, like you said, when the rubber hits the road and you got to make a play on the ball. That's what I think separated those two defensive backfields.
Right.
That cornerback Stingley.
Oh yeah.
I want him on my team.
Yeah, that kid's gonna be nice. He's a freshman, right?
And he's a freshman.
Right. True freshman.
I'm like, yo, he's staying with you. He's turning around. I'm like, that's the kite. I mean, as a freshman, I'm like, yo, that's that kid right there. I want him.
Right.
And we didn't, like, our young guys, we shirted them. We didn't play a lot. Like, a lot of our explosive, like, we had a few explosive athletes that's on the shelf, and I think we failed ourselves with that this year, because we depended on T and Ross and a lot of those other guys to be who they are all the time. But I think we should have groomed some of those explosive athletes because LSU put them out there on the field where it was true freshmen of 15 years old. They was putting them out there like if they were studs, right? And we didn't groom ourselves for that, like because we have explosive athletes, but we put them on the show, and the disparity. To me, you saw it in the Ohio State game as well. Like explosive athletes, we might have saw a few of them. Like by far, you can look at ATN and be like, oh man, he's super duper explosive, But everybody else, I mean, they seem good, but you didn't see that explosive athletes other than him and probably Simmons, like an explosive athlete. But we got him, man, and we gotta unleash him. We can't. I'm sure that I don't think Dabo is gonna do that again. I mean, can't do that.
Higgins as a freshman, I thought was explosive, but it doesn't. Like, I don't know what happened. Like
he's smooth though. Right,
I was about to say he's still a quality wide receiver, but I thought as a freshman, I I saw the explosiveness. But
Higgins is good, man. He didn't have a good championship game. I think he was probably still dinged up from last time. I don't know. He played okay. But he got extremely great ball skills. But like I say, I don't know, man. I think the effort was kind of off from everyone. Like we weren't coached up to 100 the way we normally are. Like the last couple, few championship games, even Ohio State, like we played above our numbers. You know how we used to draft those guys on Madden and be like, that kid don't play like a 76. Like they just playing above their numbers, and we didn't do that. We didn't do that Monday night.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned like playing guys early and like sticking them out there, see what they do. I think that's kind of like you said. Dabo may have learned that lesson, but I think that kind of happens. It's a natural trend. When you start to establish dominance in any realm, as you go with what got you, you stick with what got you there.
Right.
And, you start to avoid risk that you would take when you were, the underdog most of the time. So I think Dabo will learn that lesson that, at some point, if a guy, even if you don't think he's ready, throw him out there. If he's got, if he can be a game changer. Sometimes all it takes catch one ball, it can change the game.
Change the game, right. Agreed. Agreed.
But I agree, Al, that I don't think Clemson stunk it up. I just think LSU. We kind of all got that notion, probably 2/3 of the way through the season, that whoever ended up playing LSU in the national championship was going to lose if LSU came to play, and they did. They figured it out, and I think early. Clemson was able to, on defense, they were able to kind of get pressure and bring a lot of heat from blitzes. But if that pressure didn't get there, they were kind of hung out to dry.
Right.
You're not going to get, maybe 60 snaps, on offense. You're not going to get 60 sacks. At some point, that pressure's not going to get there, and you're going to pay for it.
Right.
Live by the blitz, die by the blitz.
Damn right. But Simmons is a monster, though.
No, he definitely is. And years before, like we never had to bring a fifth guy because we, what I'm saying, we had a monster in the middle and two Amazons on the outside where you couldn't even double them. You know what I'm saying? So I think we kind of. I don't know what happened to our DNs and D tackles, but I mean we were young up front, but we couldn't get in pass rush at all. But go back to what you said, Simmons a monster.
Yeah, he is. And like you mentioned the D line, like y'all's top 5 defender, the 2 DNs and the top 3 D tackles all were drafted in the last 2 years. So like high, like
that's
relatively
make a
high.
Difference.
Right.
So but all that to say, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I heard that there were projected last night 40 players in that game who would be drafted at some point in the NFL.
Wow.
Like when you think about the concentration of talent that is 40 players, and then when you also you say, okay, that's 40 between those two teams. You throw in Oklahoma, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, right? Like you're talking about 9 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just got all the talent. So how the hell are these other teams really supposed to win?
Right. Yeah, but the key, I'll tell you 2 ways these other teams are keeping up, and even like you said, it's those 9 teams that we see mostly, but occasionally we'll see another team pop up, and this is how they do it. One, they find talent at key positions. So you find,
okay,
you know, the quarterbacks, the pass rushers, the corner. You find talent, running backs in college. You find those. You know, a lot of times you can get by with not having the biggest, strongest offensive lineman, and then 2, that leads to schemes. It's college football becoming a lot about schemes. So if you can find the right quarterback for the right scheme, you can kind of make some noise and beat your schedule and maybe luck up or play the perfect game and beat a big dog.
Right.
I mean, but I hear you absolutely right. But then when you play that out, best case scenario, you might be 6 seed,
right?
5th seed, 4th
exactly.
seed.
Because you started off 25th in the rankings.
You get the right to get murked by an LSU.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. And that's how it works, is because usually those, you know, the team that comes out of nowhere literally comes out of nowhere. They start unranked or ranked 25th, and they have to work their way up the ladder. And by the time the end of the season comes, you 13-0, but you kind of got stuck at 7.
Correct.
You know, kind of ran out of games. So it's
maybe
tough.
next year.
Right.
I guess that's the Boise States of the world.
Yeah, but then, you know, you have kind of maybe 2 of those maybe next year's, and then all your talents moved on.
Yep.
Right.
And now Boise State ain't got the talent no more. Now it's South Florida. Then 2 more years, South Florida ain't got it no more. Now it's Central Florida. Then 2 years from that, Buffalo. Like, it's just like nobody can keep the talent in the smaller schools.
Right.
Those other schools, though, it's just they just churning them out.
Because now they got, you know, like you just said, LSU's got 20 on their roster that's going to play on the next level. You might have 2.
Right.
I mean, just look at the last few years, the running backs that have come through Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, just the Josh Jacobs, the Henrys, the Yeldons.
Yeah.
I'm just like
Trent Richardson, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram.
And they still got another set coming out.
Right. What's the one?
Yeah.
What's the
The
one
wide
with
receivers that have come out of LSU.
Right. Yeah.
And there's another 4 or 5 on the roster right now, dying to get into the pro.
Right. Order like you look at like the transfers. Like Joe Burrow couldn't get on the field for Ohio State.
Oh, that's crazy too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like,
I also think that played a key. Just real quick, made me think about something. His age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was literally a man playing and against boys.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That being 22, 23 years old, man, as a player made the difference tonight. That last night too.
Yeah. And as a person, like you get in those crunch moments or things not going well, like I would think I handle shit a whole lot differently at 22 than I did at 18.
Yeah, 18, 19, definitely.
Right.
Then they said it's preparation. Like he had one online class, and other than that, he spent like 8-9 hours in the facility with the quarterback coach and the you know, going over, breaking out every play. So he's a professional.
He's a full-time football player.
Yeah.
Right.
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 Right. Hey, I do want to hit you with this, Jay. You're on the clock. You're the Bengals. You're taking Burrow. You're taking Chase Young.
I gotta take Burrow.
Gotta take Burrow.
I got to. I mean,
got to.
I got to. Yeah. I mean, I just
got to.
I can't go back to Andy Dalton, who I just benched and brought back at the end of the year.
Right.
You know, unless like I say, I'm gonna can do it. But the only other option, which I would say, I'll take Chase Young and go sign, Phillip Rivers or somebody like that. Like an older starter. But,
a stopgap, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But even then, like you ain't like I always say, for a GM or a coach or whoever's making that decision, even if you make the wrong decision, in 10 years when your job is on the line, you got to be able to justify that choice. All right. So, if I go take a defensive end and he ends up being pretty decent, but Joe Burrow goes on to be a 2-time MVP and wins 3 Super Bowls, I can't justify not picking Joe Burrow. There's no way I could justify that. But if I draft Joe Burrow and he goes on to become a decent quarterback and Chase Young goes on to become a 10-sack guy every year for 10 years, at least I can say, man, it was a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback who won a national championship. I can justify making that pick. Like, so at least you got to be able to justify it, even if you're wrong.
Right.
But that being said, it ain't a snowball's chance in hell they picking Chase Young. They picking Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. That's what I was telling Money. I was like, Money, there's no way they can pass on Joe, because you see what Joe can do. Granted, it's not the NFL, but he put in those NFL hours, in the lab, and you see he's accurate, and you see he's able to break down the offense and know the back door and the front door and the trap door of the offense, and you see what he can do. Bro, there's no way you can pass on that. Right. Not that you need a quarterback, and you need a quarterback.
Right, and you're Zach, the Bengals head coach, Zach, I forgot his last name. But,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
As a young head coach and a guy who's in your first, second year, you draft a quarterback, that's going to buy you a few years.
Right.
Because you tied to that guy and they want to see you grow with that quarterback. And the Bengals, like most people don't realize, but the Bengals have been pretty stable at quarterback over the last 20 years. Look back to Carson Palmer, Andy Dalton. There's been the last 2 quarterbacks over the last 20 years. Yeah. So, but if you're a young coach or if you're new to that franchise, you want to get a quarterback early because you're going to buy you a couple years. Because at least they'll give you that benefit of the doubt that you got a young quarterback, and he's still got some growing to do. So, Zach Taylor, that's his name. But but they can. Everybody else pretty much fighting for 2 at this point.
Right, but the Redskins get Chase Young to put with Sweat, Landon Collins. They're gonna have a pretty formidable pass rush. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty ugly.
Yeah, but and they got a new regime, so we'll see. But as far as what we know,
they got was it Jonathan Allen?
Jonathan Allen, yeah.
And another nose tackle from Bama or something, isn't it?
They got another nose tackle from Bama, and they got another outside linebacker from Bama. So they got some talent.
And the other kid coming off the ACL or something, right? The kid that they drafted high, he's a maniac. Like, he got real problems, but he's a fool. You know what I'm talking about? The 49ers drafted him.
Oh, you talking about
he played inside backer at
from Bama. Ruben Foster.
Ruben Foster. Yeah,
Ruben Foster, a fool. Yeah, the kid went to the kid committed to Auburn and got an Auburn tattoo all up his leg and changed and went to Bama. That's how crazy he is.
Bama.
And nobody killed him. That's how you know he's crazy as that. Because anybody else, them Auburn people would have killed him for that shit. But but that goes to show you how dysfunctional that Washington franchise is, man. Like, all that talent, and
right?
Still drafting second
overall.
Right.
Wow.
So it's the Redskins. They'll screw it up some kind of way, but they did fire everybody, so we'll see.
I was just about to say Rivera, man. But look, if somehow they take Chase, the Bengals. Can they? There's no way they can pass. They're gonna pass. They'll pass on Burrow because they have the young kid out of Ohio State.
Oh no, Haskins. That's tough though. Again, it's a new coach.
Right.
He may want his own guy, but I
think he's his own guy.
Yeah, that'd be tough though. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think there's enough like other talent in the draft, and of course the Redskins have way more holes to fill than just quarterback. So I would think I would go in a different direction and keep Haskins, at least see what he can do. Because even if you draft Burrow, right now, like, he's gonna be in the same situation as Haskins in.
Unless
I like Haskins.
Yeah, I do too.
I like Haskins too, but kind of like with the Cardinals, unless you are convinced.
Yeah,
Haskins bounce better.
Not the guy.
Yeah, and you're convinced that I really, really like this guy better than what I already have. Like that
from
much
my
more.
system.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless that, but I like Haskins. I think he got a shot, so I wouldn't.
Right.
I think they crapped on him though. I don't think they gave him a shot. They waited and waited and waited till they played like the toughest game on the schedule and threw him in.
Yeah.
Instead of prepping him when they were playing the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Like Case got hurt, and then it was like, okay, but he's still not going to start. We're going to start Colt McCoy, whoever it was. They were like, we're going to start. And I was like, damn, why don't they prep Haskins and put Haskins out there against the Dolphins? That's the weakest team they're going to play all year. But
for most reports, Haskins wasn't doing himself no favors. Like, he wasn't in the film room like he should have been, wasn't preparing himself. So it's kind of a tough situation. Yeah, and not really a knock on him, but he's young. He don't know how to be a professional yet.
I didn't know that though.
So so that's what they were saying. Like, they just not gonna throw him to the wolves just to say we're giving him a shot, because you can ruin a guy by doing that if he ain't ready.
Yeah, that's true.
So, hopefully he gets. I think he'll get another chance, because I think, like we said, it ain't no way in hell the Bengals passing on Joe Burrow.
No,
that shouldn't happen. No. So we're going to jump to a break, and we'll be right back, talk some NFL. If you're into all things comics, you have to check out Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, your go-to podcast for comic and superhero discussion, debates, polls, and more. Tune in as Regular Scott and Ozzy Killmonger chat about your favorite comic topics, and you never know who may show up for an open mic or what will be next on their favorite One Gotta Go. Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, every Sunday, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. Yo, welcome back to episode 140 of the Defy Life Podcast. It's JR, Al, Thomas. Guys, we are headed to conference championship round of in the NFL playoffs. In the AFC, we got the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFC, we got the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. First, let's recap last week. On a scale of, well, shit, you picked the Titans, didn't you?
Yeah.
Shit, so I know you wasn't shocked. But when you made that pick, was it really just I'm gonna make a pick that's different so I can gain some ground, or you really thought they was gonna beat Baltimore?
I really thought they had just as good as chances as any, because I wanted to pick them the week before against the Patriots, but I was like, man, I'm not picking against the Patriots, even though I wanted to, because I know they have the formula to beat anyone. Great run game, especially a smack punch in the mouth, punch in the mouth defense, and Tannehill is playing like the best football of his of his career. He's not making any bad decisions. He's just out there moving the chains and being a field general. If they need a first down, he goes out there and gets it. So I think they have a shot to go all the way. I really do.
Yeah, it was. I was kind of the opposite. Like, I picked them to beat the Patriots, but then I was like, okay, Jay, you done rode that train long enough. You're gonna run out of luck soon. So I couldn't pick them again. I wanted to. I changed that pick maybe 4 times, and I was like, you know what, you got they did you a favor, let them off the hook, and I should have kept them on the hook. I don't know, Al. Did you think Tennessee had any? Because I agree with you, Pooh. Like, Tennessee has the perfect recipe to win in the playoffs, but thought Baltimore had the same recipe, but it tastes better. I don't know, Al. Did you have any idea that Tennessee can go into Baltimore and beat them?
I picked them too.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you did pick them.
I was 4 for 4 this year.
Right.
This week.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Shit.
So, and honestly, that wasn't I have done some outrageous picks to try to catch up.
Right.
But that wasn't one. I picked them against the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I picked them against the Ravens, and to the recipe part, what Pooh mentioned, that was part of it. I also think the head coach was my leading factor. And knowing that Rabel coming out of a Belichick tree, and when you look at Belichick's playoff career, right, his defense always has been that defense that is able to stymie an offense. And with the more experienced veteran quarterbacks, and offense coordinators and systems, they are able to sometimes counter that. But usually against the young quarterbacks, he tends to frustrate them to where he takes something away from an offense and they're not able to counter.
All right.
And I just thought that's what I would expect, and it came through. And so I was not shocked. And not shocked. And Henry, woo, Henry,
talk about Madden.
Just wears on a defense.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, it's hard to pick against them because of that. So I'm not sure how I'm going this week, but because of him in particular, he's a factor that makes it hard to pick against, because he takes time off the clock and he gets better and stronger as the game goes by.
Right.
And
he's not like he can catch the ball when you need him to. He's not like just traditional bruiser who just runs into the back of his lineman and occasionally breaks a long run. Like, he can lower his shoulders. He's not like and most tall guys run straight up, and it's weird to see him pound on people at 6'4".
And pretty fast.
And fast and agile and able to lower his pad level. Like, it's weird. He really, we talked about men amongst boys. Like, when he stiff armed Earl Thomas in the back, he really he was pushing his little brother around.
Like, get out the way.
Right. Like, dude, stop messing with me. But, I don't know. They're going to be a tough out. Yeah. In the other game, the Texans lost to the Chiefs. The Texans went up 24-0, and it's crazy. My, Lincoln was watching the game with me, and he was like, "I'd be surprised, I'd be shocked if the Chiefs come back." And I said, "Man, it's the Chiefs. They never out of it." And he was like, "What you mean?" The next play, right after he said that, they scored a touchdown, and I was like, "That's what I mean." But like. Can't I always say, like, the Chiefs, that offense, it's like the Golden State Warriors of the past 4 years. Like, they never out of it, and if you lose focus for 1 second, boom, they're gonna score a touchdown. I don't know, Al. Like, were you at all like shocked when they came back?
I wasn't shocked that they came back. I was shocked how fast the comeback happened, and that Houston wasn't able to respond at all. Like, that's the part that was just kind of like, I thought it was going to eventually be a game, but I didn't think it was going to be a blowout. So that to me was and somewhat disappointing. I know, like, if I was a decision maker for that franchise, that's the type of game that really would have me questioning my coaching staff.
Yeah.
Like, I would really have to think, why couldn't you stop the bleeding?
Right. And why were you contributing to the bleeding?
That too.
They made some dumb decisions.
Correct. I'd really have to sit down and start looking at, are these the right people leading this talent? Because that was, I mean, honestly, I was watching the game with a good friend of mine, and then I had to go coach a game. By the time we were like watching the game, bam, Houston is up. By the time I'm leaving for the game, Houston has come back. I mean, Kansas City has come back. By the time my game is over, they're up by like 20, 30 points. I was just like, oh, what happened?
Yeah. It was like they knew it was going to happen. Like, Kansas City didn't
like they
panic.
planned it.
Right. It was, and that's the difference. Like, you saw, like, Baltimore's, after they went down 14-0, you could see the panic in their faces. Like, Kansas City was like, man, you know who we are? Let's go walk them down. And they went and walked them down. I don't know. Pooh.
Yeah.
I know you a Deshaun Watson fan. You think Bill O'Brien's the right coach for that team?
Man, I didn't really get to see it, man. I had took my kids to work out a little bit, and by the time I got, this is what happened. I took them in the gym. I was walking inside the gym. They were like, yo, it's 24-0. I was like, 24-0, Texans. I was like, wow. You know, he was like, yeah, they didn't get to score the touchdown. So as I'm walking out from working them out, you know, because we was only in like, 25, 30 minutes, and the score was 28, 24. I was like, what? So we walk home, get home, and I get this ridiculous migraine like immediately. Yeah. So I just, man, I had to lay down when I got up, man. It was like 11:30. So I didn't get to see anything, man. I don't even know what O'Brien did. I don't know what happened. I don't even know what you guys speaking about right now. Like, how he contributed. I don't even know.
Yeah, it was just weird, man. Like, after the game, he said, I knew he was going to have to score 50. But on 4th and 1 from like the 7, he kicked the field goal. So that's how they got 24. Okay. And then the next series, when he got the ball back, they're on, like, they backed up on their own, like, what was it, Al, like the 35, 40?
Yeah, like the 35.
And it's 4th and 3, and he goes and does a fake punt. And
does not get it. And, of course, you give the Chiefs the ball at the 30. So stuff like that, where it's just like, I don't know what you're, like, nothing. You know how people make decisions that are kind of independent of each other? Yeah. Instead of, like, making decisions, like, one being a part of another decision which leads to something else. It was like he was just making decisions willy-nilly, like, in the moment, like, fuck it, fake this punt. Right. And see, I kind of felt like it was more like a decision made in advance. Like, all right, first time we get a punt, we going for it. All right, everybody ready? Like, just we gonna practice this because our first punt, because we know we got to keep up with them. We going for it, and we gonna get the first down, and we gonna keep going down the field. Right. Just like, so to your point though, like to what you're saying, Jay, that they're not really thinking in the moment what really is, as this game has been playing out, and what I'm trying to achieve. What should I do right now?
Right. And I don't think
we got the momentum.
Right.
The defense.
Yeah, I don't think the risk was worth the reward. Like, you get a first down, you still are backed up in your own 40. Like, it's not like but like the risk was that you don't get it, and then they already got the momentum, and now they score again. Like, I just don't think the risk was worth the reward in that situation. I don't know. Like, it's.
I mean, and it's also it's disrespectful. Like, not only
the
risk of it, the momentum that you are offering up to your opponent who's dragging right now.
you're about to fire them up if you don't get it because, like y'all were talking about Madden. And if you was to do that on Madden, I'd be looking at you like, are you serious?
Right.
Like you don't play much.
Word.
Yeah.
Right. You going for it on you? You try to fake fun of me?
All right.
Oh, you know what? Let me stop playing around.
Right.
Stop.
Exactly.
You don't know how to play. I was tripping. Let's go.
Right. So I don't know, man. But you know, I'm excited though. Titans Chiefs should be a very good game. I like the contrast of styles. I like that it's kind of a changing of the guard. So it's the first time since 2003 that the AFC Championship does not involve Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, or Tom Brady.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then look at the potential. One chance you got a Pat Mahomes, who I think I picked in our preseason show at the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. And Andy Reid, redemption. Does he get a chance to get that Super Bowl ring? Or Tannehill?
Right. Yeah.
That would be. Who thought he would be in the Super Bowl?
Right.
Ever.
He just played himself into a $100 million contract.
Right.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
In a half a season.
Half a season.
Franchise quarterback at that.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, it should be fun. I'm excited for that game. In the NFC, we have Packers and the Niners. Kind of feel like it's 1998 all over again. But I don't know, man. It's a bit different. I mean, the Niners put a whooping on the Vikings. It was never really close. And then the Packers, who the Packers beat? Seahawks. Yeah. So, they tried to give it away.
Yeah, they did.
But
Russell, I was pulling for Russell.
Yeah, me too. It's fun to see Russell get into those kind of grooves. Russell get in that kind of groove. It's fun to watch him play. But yeah, that defense couldn't make that stop. I don't know, man. Like, y'all think the Packers got a chance against the Niners?
Not really, because I don't think I'm looking at matchups, and I look at San Fran's offense first. The offense, I think the offense is going to be able to move the ball and score on Green Bay. Not like up and down the field, but they're gonna get their points. But I think San Fran's defense has an advantage against Green Bay. So I like Sherman, and I like the other young cornerback they got. So I think they got a good pair of corners to go up against Green Bay. And a pass rush, a nasty pass rush. So I like Green Bay in that one.
Yeah, that defensive line is killing it.
You say you like Green Bay?
I mean, I'm sorry. I like San Fran in that one.
Oh.
Thank you. I like San Fran in that one.
Based on your response, Pooh, I'm guessing you don't like Green Bay.
No, based on my analysis.
Right.
Based on what I say, how the hell you like Green Bay?
Right. Man, I hate them both, man. I probably just, I mean, you always have a shot, man. You get this far, you're good. You're number 2 seed, you're good. So I think you always have a shot. I really don't care who wins. I dislike them both very, very much. So, whatever, man. I'll watch and just to see who loses. I guess and I hate to say it, probably if I had to root for someone or I guess tolerate one the less, that'll probably have to be the Packers because I really don't know any. I know them, but like I don't have to talk to them like Chad or my brother or whoever about the Niners doing this and the Niners doing that, and so if it has to be any way, get the Niners out, and let Green Bay lose the Super Bowl.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, of course, I just said I think, the Niners. I don't think the Packers have much of a chance. I'm kind of like you, Pooh. Like, this playoffs is, like, whenever my team doesn't make the playoffs, it's fun in the sense that I'm not emotionally invested, so I can just watch the games and have fun watching them. And I really just start picking the teams out that I don't want to win, and then if anybody else wins, I'm good with it. So there's only one team left for me that I don't want to win, and that's the Niners. Simply because I know we're gonna have to hear it from their fans, and I know more Niners fans than I do Packers fans. But also, strictly from a Steelers perspective, the Niners got 5 Super Bowls. I don't want them to tie us, and I really feel like they're in a better position if they get 6 to get 7. So I damn sure don't want them to get closer to 7. So that's pretty much it for me. So now that the Patriots, the Ravens, and the Bills are out, I just need the Niners to be out. So I'm good.
Need the Niners out, man. Need the Niners out.
So, I'm not sure about this weekend. Maybe next weekend. I mean, at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But at home, I think they're going to be hard to beat.
No, yeah, they definitely going to be hard to beat.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be hard to beat.
Like, the only shot you give the Packers is Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think that's enough.
Yes, sir. Right. But that is a lot, though. I don't know if it's going to be
It
enough.
is.
But, in the history of the NFL, elite franchise Hall of Fame quarterbacks
Who've been there before.
Who have been there before and want to get back have done some amazing things with that pigskin. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So the picks will be out tomorrow. So we'll see.
All
right. Question for you guys. So if you could pick one quarterback in the world to lead your franchise over the next decade, so that includes current NFL QBs and college quarterbacks, who would it be? So I just got a list right here. Patrick Mahomes, MVP last year, has a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. Lamar Jackson, who's likely to be the MVP this year. Kyler Murray, who's the first pick and Heisman Trophy winner last year. Joe Burrow, who's probably going to be the first pick and was a Heisman Trophy winner this year. Trevor Lawrence, who's likely going to be the first pick next year and probably win the Heisman. Justin Fields, who was ranked ahead of Trevor Lawrence coming out of high school a couple years ago. Or another quarterback. Who would you pick? Who you first?
Wow. That's tough. It's hard for me to go with any college QB because I haven't seen them translate to the pros. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, I have to go with Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Or it could be some 8th grader who ridiculously got offered a scholarship by Alabama. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes for you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn solid choice. Al, what about you? Who would you roll with? And there's other names I didn't mention. There's
like
Dak Prescott. Josh Allen. Guys I didn't mention.
I really do like Dak Prescott as a player and on and off the field. Like happy that he's the franchise quarterback for the Cowboys. But if I could upgrade to Patrick Mahomes, I would. I definitely would. I just think I'm a big fan and think he's the best of the young quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I would take him.
Yeah, I'd have to roll with Mahomes too. It's tough not to say Lamar Jackson. Just because he's that special of an athlete, and you can see the growth in him as a passer from year 1 to year 2, and you have to assume he's going to go back in the lab and continue to grow. But what concerns me, considering where they are right now, and Patrick Mahomes is not a bad athlete either, is that with Lamar, you have to have so many things in place for it to go right. You have to have the scheme, the offensive coordinator willing to run that scheme and stick to it. You have to have everybody buy into that scheme, which your receivers know they're not going to catch 100 balls a year. So it's a lot to sustain over a 10-year period. And you have to, like we always say, with Lamar and his style, how long can it be effective without him getting injured? So with that, just how special Pat Mahomes, I keep comparing them to the Golden State Warriors. Like, he's really like Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he can hit threes from half court, like all the time.
All that.
Yeah. So yeah, I had to go Pat Mahomes too.
Yeah, I like his arm.
Mm-hmm.
I like his heart. Now the one
Leadership
thing
ability.
that does, definitely his leadership ability. Like the one thing I do acknowledge is that he does play on a high-powered, high-talented offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wonder how does his game translate if the weapons aren't surrounding him.
That's true. Yeah. Like if he
was playing on Baltimore,
right? Yeah, like if he had Aaron Rodgers receivers, he had Devontae Adams and a bunch of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. That's a good. That's tough. Yeah,
but
I'll take
you
my
can still
chance.
see the talent, but you just wondered, what does that talent look like? Like Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers is very talented quarterback, and I think he would look better playing with on the Saints.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is, like, Aaron Rodgers was so good over the past 10 years that, like, he covered up, like, he masked so many of their deficiencies that if he weren't there, like, they were so average at the skill positions that without him, they were a 4-win team. So, right, they in the NFC champions, right. So, I'm with you. I think Patrick Mahomes is special enough that he's that special where he's going to be good regardless, and he's going to elevate a lot of talent around him. So, yeah, I think we Mahomes in a sweep. Y'all ready for some trivia?
Oh yeah,
No doubt.
All right. Kind of had to hold this one over from last week because it was just me and Al hanging on at the end. Really good conversation, though. Pooh, you missed out on a very, very good question last week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We were just talking about if one of the listener questions was if your child came to you and said, I don't want to go to college, what would you say? And what was the second? It was the second part of that question too.
Yeah, is college necessary?
Is college necessary for success?
To be successful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So, and then that kind of, how we do when we get a really good question, it kind of led into a whole lot of other stuff. But
right.
Yeah, so this is a really good one. But yeah, so trivia for this week is it was left over from last week. So. We're going 3 men in a squad, NBA edition. Second category is I don't want to go to college. NBA players who came straight out of high school. And last category is but if I did, HBCU trivia. Okay. So there are 4 questions in each category, just like normal. 1 point for the 1, 4 points for the 4, everything in between. Let me grab a point sheet here. All right, Al. Since this would have been, you were here last week and you couldn't get it, you go first. Pooh, you go second. All right, Al. So you want 3 men in the squad, NBA edition. I don't want to go to college. Or, but if I did.
Let's go with, but if I did. You said 4 questions?
Mm-hmm.
For 3.
But if I did for 3, HBCU trivia. This Pennsylvania college was the first HBCU to offer college degrees.
Cheney.
That is incorrect. Yeah. Cheney was the first one to open, but they didn't offer degrees. Lincoln University was the first one to offer degrees. All right, Pooh, on you.
I don't want to go to college for the dub.
I don't want to go to college for 2. He disappointingly fell to the last pick of the second round of the 1998 draft by the Seattle Sonics. But this sharpshooter went on to become a perennial all-star. Who is he?
Sharpshooter.
10.
Seattle Supersonics.
8. 7.
Perennial
6,
all-star.
5. 4. 3. 2. 1.
I know that's not right. Let me say Detlef Shrimp, but I know that's not right.
Detlef Shrimp is incorrect. Correct is Rashard Lewis. Last pick of the 1998 draft, and cried on camera because
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually in the green room and all that stuff, and stuck around for the whole draft and was the last pick.
Yeah, that felt kind of sad. Now that I think about it, he took me back to a bad place.
Right. Oh man! All right, Al, on you.
Let me try that category. I don't want to go to college. For 3.
I don't want to go to college for 3. In 2001, the Chicago Bulls opened the season with these 2 rookie big men drafted straight out of high school. While neither panned out as Bulls, one would go on to become a defensive stalwart until this day, and the other one quickly ate himself out of the league. Who are these 2 players?
I got to name both of them.
Wow. Something told me
Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry.
Tyson Chandler and Eddie Curry. Yes.
Former Nick, Eddie Curry. One of the worst trades. Isaiah Thomas. I think he kind of got fired for that Eric Curry trade. Actually,
yeah, he should have. He was such a tease, man.
But shout out to Isaiah Thomas. We did need a center at the time. We thought that was what we needed, and we thought he was a young. Traded, I think, Jamal Crawford for that dude or something like that. That was a big trade.
It was, but I mean, to Isaiah's defense, Eddie Curry had started to turn it around in Chicago, and got himself in shape for that 1 year because he knew he was on a contract. It was,
yeah. He played. Nah, y'all didn't draft Crawford, did you?
No, Crawford was there. At some point, I don't know. I know he was a Knick. I don't know if they drafted him.
Maybe
we drafted Jamal.
Yeah, the Bulls drafted Jamal.
You're right.
Yeah. All right, Pooh, on you.
Let me get. I don't want to go to college for 4. I can't believe I missed that question.
I don't want to go to college for 4. Nicknamed Chocolate Thunder, this dunking machine was drafted out of high school in 1975.
Isn't his name Daryl Dawkins or something?
Daryl Dawkins is correct. Yeah. All right. 4 points for Pooh. Yeah. All right. Al, on you.
Let me try. I don't want to go to college. Let me get that last one for 10.
I don't want to go to college for 1. Selected by the Phoenix Suns with the first overall pick in 2002. This power forward was known for his quick hops until microfracture surgery sapped much of his athleticism.
That would be
10, 9,
the only black Jew I know, Amari Stoudemire.
Amari Stoudemire, correct. He is Jew, ain't he? All right. Pooh, on you.
3 men in the squad for 3.
3 men in the squad for 3. I give you the names. You give me the squad they all play for. Double points if you can give me all their positions. All right. First name is Myers Leonard. Second name is Kendrick Nunn. Last one is Chris Silva.
Myles Leonard, didn't he get traded?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Orlando Magic. I know he used to be
Orlando
Portland,
Magic
but he
is incorrect. Those three guys are all Miami Heat.
Miami Heat went to the Heat.
Went to the Heat. The Heats.
He was at Portland, right?
Yeah, he was at Portland.
Yeah, I didn't know where he went, but I just threw it out the silver.
Somewhere in Florida.
Let me try 3 men in a squad for 2.
3 men in the squad for 2. Lonnie Walker Jr., Damari Carroll, and Rudy Gay. 10.
That be the Spurs?
That is the Spurs. All right. And 2 additional points if you can give me their positions. So Lonnie Walker Jr., Damari Carroll, and Rudy Gay.
Damari Carroll is a shooting small forward.
Mm-hmm.
Gay, he's a small forward, stretch 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stretch 4.
Yep.
And Lonnie Walker is the one I don't know. So, but I'm going to guess and say he's a guard.
Shooting a point.
I'll go shooting.
That is correct. And Lonnie Walker's the only starter of the 3 as well. How funny is that?
Oh, wow. Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to watch some Spurs games. I didn't know who that cat was.
Yeah, kid from Miami with crazy hair, but, a little bit of the anti-Spurs kind of player, kind of an open court, kind of wild man Steve kind of guy. I like him. All right, so 4 points for Al. Pooh, is on you.
I got to salvage and get something. I'm not too keen on that 4 right now. Give me 3 men in the squad for 1.
3 men in the squad for 1. First is Mark Gasol. Second is Patrick McCaw. Third is Serge Ibaka.
Pau Gasol? Who the hell Pau Gasol play for?
10. 9.
Oh, you said Paul?
Mark.
You said Mark.
Mark.
Mark. Oh, okay. All right. Toronto. What's their last name? They won the Raptors.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say the Argonauts. Oh man! All right. So 1 point for Pooh. You can get an additional point if you give me Gasol, McCaw, and Ibaka's positions.
Okay. Gasol, center. Ibaka, power forward. McCaw, is he a shooting guard or a small forward? McCaw, shooting guard.
He's a small forward, sir. Yes. And I'm only going by listed positions, not like, So this is what they have them listed at.
Nah, it's all good.
Al, on you.
Let me try 3 men in the squad for
4. All right.
Yeah.
3 men in the squad for 4. Jay Crowder, Grayson Allen, and Tyus Jones.
Wow. Should have took the 4. Son of a bitch.
Crowder with the Celtics?
That is incorrect, sir.
Where's Crowder?
They are all Memphis Grizzlies. The Celtics were 2 teams ago for Jay Crowder. He played for the Celtics, and then he got traded to the Cavs because Bron wanted him. He stayed there for about 10 games before it didn't work out, and they traded him to Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay Crowder?
Yeah.
When? The Grizz.
Yeah. And
didn't he play with Utah too?
Yeah, I'm sorry. They traded him to Damn, it was 3 teams ago. They traded him to Utah.
Yeah.
And then Utah traded him to the Grizzlies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Cavs traded. He was in that trade with when the Cavs made that big trade at the middle of the year to get the left hand big head dude. Damn, my analyst hat just went out the window. But I don't know. But Jay Crowder. Damn, who did it? Rodney Hood.
Oh, Rodney Hood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pooh, on you. Game's all tied at 5, by the way.
What do we have?
But if I did, HBCU trivia 1, 2, and 4.
1, 2, 4. We tied at 5. I can't let a kid get the 4, get away from me. So if I don't know it, it'll be off the board. Let me get the 4.
All right. This HBCU is the oldest in South Carolina.
The oldest in South Carolina.
10, 9, 8,
Wow.
7, 6, 5, 4.
I'm going to have to go with my own
2.
Allen University,
1.
man.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is Claflin University.
Claflin.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's alma mater.
Really? Wow.
Wow.
Established 1 year before Allen University.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that is loyalty.
Right. Right. And I guess that's where mine lied.
But you did accomplish one feat. You took number 4 off the board.
I did.
Al, you going to 1 or the 2?
I'll do the 2.
All right, the 2. These HBCUs are tied for the most players in Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Grambling.
Mm-hmm.
And
they both have, I didn't finish the question, they both have 4.
okay.
So yeah, so
Grambling and Southern.
Grambling was right. The other was Morgan State.
Wow.
Yeah, Grambling has Charlie Joyner, Willie Davis, Buck Buchanan, and Willie Brown. Morgan State has Lynn Ford, Roosevelt Brown, Leroy Kelly, and Willie Lanier.
Morgan State.
Southern has 3, by the way.
Okay.
All right, Pooh, for the win.
For the 1.
Yeah. This HBCU has the largest enrollment of all HBCUs.
Man, I'm going to just have to jump out the window, man. I'm going to say Hampton University.
Hampton is incorrect.
Yeah.
Correct answer is North Carolina A&T.
A&T.
Wow.
With 11,877. Yeah, it was kind of shocked. Hampton's not even in the top 5. I thought they would be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, A&T is the largest HBCU. So we got a tie. Yeah. We got a tie. So we're going old school tiebreaker. I give you a name and you give me. I give you an NFL player's name. You give me his alma mater.
Okay.
All right. First, we're going to start off easy. We are going to start off with players from your respective teams.
No.
So these first couple, before they get harder, will be Bears and Cowboys. All right. Who went first? You, Al?
Yep.
Yeah, there I'll go. I just missed it. I don't even know where my guys went to school at.
Really?
Oh,
man.
boy.
All right. First, Al, the aforementioned Alvin Harper.
University of Tennessee.
Tennessee is correct. All right. Let's see who I'm going. All right, Pooh. Former Chicago Bears great safety Mark Carrier.
Mark Carrier, and I'm done.
Oh!
Mark Carrier, I say Penn State.
Wow.
USC.
Mark Carrier went to USC.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Wow.
What year did Mark play for us, man?
Mark played in the early 90s, was it, Al?
I would put it there. That was my
27? Carrier was 27?
Let me see. Mark Carrier played for the Bears.
29. What was his number?
I think it was 20, maybe 29. Let me see. He played for the Bears from 90 to 96. Yep. And,
90 to 96.
And his jersey number was 20.
20. I remembered him, but I had no clue where he went to school at.
Yeah. Damn, I didn't know he was drafted that high. Drafted number 6 overall.
Yeah, he was really good in
three-time Pro Bowler, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Playmaker.
Right.
Wow. Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
You hang your hat on that.
Damn right. 32 interceptions, 1 touchdown in his career. Mark Henry was a player, man.
Yeah. I remember him. Just didn't know what school.
Yeah. All right. Well, Al, you won. What you got for me, man? What's your parting shot?
Man, that's it. Have a good week. Had a good show. Enjoyed it. And just be safe out there. See y'all next week.
All right. See, I got to pull it out you. How'd the games go last week?
Yo, opening season. Real talk. So we'll make this real quick. So we went 3 out of 4 between my two teams. But the first game went into overtime. Right. And, again, I told you my 18 and under team, I thought we was going to have a pretty strong team. But for us to have to go into overtime with this team is because we showed up flat, lack of effort, believing that we was all of that, and really didn't execute and allowed this team to be winning by 3 with 7 seconds left and on the free throw line.
What?
About to shoot 2 free throws, misses the first one. Their coach calls a timeout, freezes his own player.
Oh, shit.
I tell my players at the timeout, get the rebound. We call the timeout. We get the rebound. We call timeout, 7 seconds. We're able to roll the ball up, get 2 or 3 passes off. Dude hits 3.
Wow.
Time expiring. Jim goes wild. My team goes wild. And we end up winning the game in overtime. And that was the first game on the schedule to start the league. Everybody's just like, that's how you start the year off with a. I'm like, no, it ain't, because my team played like shit.
Right. So it's good to learn a lesson with a win.
Sort of, but like I was telling my daughter, like it's kind of hard to teach a team when you get the win, because it's like, it worked out, coach. What are you talking about? No, we gonna play better teams, and we can't play like that. So, your coach never satisfied, but we got the win, and so it was fun, man. Had a good weekend, and looking forward to getting back out there this weekend.
Good stuff, man. All right, Pooh, what you got for me?
Man, I think this is my first show on for the new year, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I just want to say we're looking forward for a great new year. Hang with us, stick with us, and Happy New Year to all the listeners. Peace.
That's what's up.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I got nothing crazy. Just shout out to my 10-year-old. Lincoln has his first girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, of course, he's a boy, so I'm not taking it quite as hard as his mother.
Right.
So, he came in and he was like, Daddy, I got something to tell you. I was like, what? I got a girlfriend. I said, oh, okay. So, after I talked to him, schooled him a little bit, asked some questions. I was like, you got to tell your mom. I was like, yeah, I know. Do I have to? I said, yes, you do. So yeah, she been this far from wringing his neck all week and wanted to call the cops on some little girl that she don't even know for tarnishing her son. But yeah, so shout out to the kid, for having his first girlfriend. And I don't know, man, it's, how it is. See kids grow up, and I'm a big believer that I tell my wife, like, I get it, you as mom, but you got to let them live and grow up and experience stuff. And I hope my sons, I know he's only 10, but as they grow, like, I hope my sons, fall in love, get their hearts broken,
experience the highs and lows, disappointments, all that stuff.
Right.
Therefore, when it's time to, when you're a man and it's time to do it for real, you've gone through it and you're prepared for it. So, happy for the kid.
No doubt. Carter got crushed. This weekend. Yeah.
Oh, no.
He went to the little party. Remember I told you about we had a little 13-year-old party. So he's up there, and I was like, yo, Carter, this is afterwards. I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You talk to somebody? What's good? What happened? And he was like, well, I spoke to people. And I was like, oh, you did talk to TV people? I said, how'd it go? He was like, yeah, some girl walked by, and I asked her, hey, how you doing? And I said, oh, word? What'd she say? He said she said nothing. And I was like, what do you mean? She didn't say anything? He was like, no. She said the word nothing. And I said, oh. That didn't even answer your question. I said, oh, okay. But anyway, did you holler at somebody else? He was like, man, no, I was done after that. Was it? He said she never crushed him. I said, nah, man, you can't let her crush you like that. Like, you got to be able to move on. You let her give you a shot and you've been through for the night. You can't be done. It's been like 15 young ladies in there and 3 guys. Like, you got to go for what you're doing there.
Tell that kid to go hunting.
Right.
Go if you care. You learn nothing from your daddy, boy.
You can still take another.
Right.
Hey, right. Like Coach Harvey and them used to say, man, calling the dog piss on the fire, man.
Hunt's over.
Yeah, put the women and children to bed.
All right. Yeah, it's like I had a coach say, man, when the same thing, kid went out and hollered at one girl, didn't get her. He's like, well, why you stop? he said that's why you go hunting with a shotgun and not a rifle.
Right.
Spray them. Get all of them you can.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Why you stop? You better get your shotgun.
Come on, man. You tripping, man.
Wow. Man. You learning?
Yeah, he learned. I was just giving him. Just giving him trouble.
Right. But in reality, though, right? Yeah, it's like in reality, he right in that sweet spot. Like at least he he ain't too afraid to ask.
Right.
But he ain't some little horn dog out there trying to chase every little thing. So at least he got his limitations and he'll grow into the rest of
it. Right.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Good stuff. Good show, guys. We will talk to y'all next week. Thank y'all for listening. We ask that you hit the like button, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating whenever you listen. Check us out on defylifepods.com and all other platforms that you listen to your podcast. You can find us on all social media platforms at Go Defy Life. This has been episode 140 of the Defy Life Podcast. Until next time, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life. Peace.
Best Medicine Podcast with Simba, sparking positive change in the community, having real conversations and therapy. And that laughter's the best remedy. Got that heavy dose of humor for your hearts to heal. With mental health, it can't get any more real. Yeah. Best Medicine Podcast. Laugh, love, learn. Best Medicine Podcast.
Best Med Pod. It's your man Simba Roar back in this thing one more time, bruh. Come get your weekly diagnosis Thursday at midnight. Only on the Defy Life Podcast Network. Check us out, though.